Hey y'all, I'm Bella Ray and welcome to Women of Radiance podcast, where I share information to educate, restore, and inspire you to get the love and life you deserve. Now, I have been off a little bit because I had a cold and I really needed to just take the time to recover and restore myself so that I can really just be back at my best. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you I have been drinking on this time is an echinacea and elderberry tea, and it's been so good. I squeezed a little bit of lemon in it and add some honey. It's super sweet, it's super refreshing, and it also helps you recover. I know this is cold and flu season, so it definitely helped me to recover because I've been sipping on this as I've been sick this time around. And now that I'm recovered, I'm ready to get back to it, and let's do it. So you see the name of this episode, it's situationships, right? So let's get into it. If you don't know what a situationship is, then sis, I gotta tell you, you've been living under a rock, okay? There is no way that, I don't know if you've not dated that much, but there is not really a way for someone to not have possibly experienced potentially getting into a situationship. So here's the deal. Situationships are when you are almost in a relationship, but not exactly. You have that special someone that you date and are involved with on a very romantic level, but it's just not elevated to an actual relationship. As a matter of fact, here's some signs for you to know that your situation is probably a situationship. The first thing is there is no commitment whatsoever. Okay, so you can be dating someone, the person that you're involved with could be dating somebody else. You guys get together a lot, you date, you go out, maybe travel together, you do a lot of things that will constitute actually being in a relationship or even possibly being married, but there is absolutely zero commitment. Now that may work for some people, but if you're really looking for a true relationship, a true commitment, then a situationship is not really going to help you get there. 9 times out of 10, if you're in a situationship, it's not going to lead to an actual true relationship. So that's the first thing you know, is that you will likely be in a non-committed situation. The other factor is, especially for my ladies, because a lot of times when you're in a situationship, ladies, you all tend to be the ones to get caught up in this situation, okay? Your feelings are in it, your emotions are elevated, and you really just get roped into the roller coaster emotion of what's going on, and you end up catching feelings for this person that you're involved with, and it really doesn't lend to you on a overall mental health level, because sometimes when you're in these situationships, you can literally know and realize that you are settling. And if a relationship is something that you want, then a situationship, again, I cannot say this enough because I'm going to be repeated more than once throughout this episode. A situationship is not something that you need to get yourself involved in if a true relationship is something that you want. Now, I will tell you a little bit about how you can possibly get your situationship to turn into a relationship with one main thing. But first, I want you to click like, share, and if you're watching this on YouTube, then subscribe to the channel so that you can get more information on topics such as these. All right. Now, those are the 2 main factors that you can use to determine if you're actually in a situationship or not. Now, what you can say to the person if you really want a relationship is this. You can approach them like, my dear darling. No, maybe not that sultry, I guess, you know. But what you can do is you can go to that person and say, listen, I want something more. I want to take this relationship to the next level, and I really want to know if you would like to do that with me. I want a committed relationship. What do you think about that? So if the person responds to you, they dance around it, they don't respond to you, or they respond to you in a way that's kind of negative or just kind of avoiding it altogether, then you have your answer. You're not going to get a relationship out of that. And I'm just going to tell you right now, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the response that you're going to get. It's going to be very unlikely that that relationship or that situationship is going to evolve into a relationship, because that's the reason why it's there. It's convenient for the other person. And it was working But when it no longer works, it just no longer works, and then you all have to part ways. Now, be prepared to know that when you part ways, ladies, you're going to have to probably do some self-healing. You're probably going to have to do some mindset work, and you're going to really have to just work on yourself to realize that you deserve more and that you are able to get what it is that you really want. And I say that because guess what? Let me spill my tea for this real quick. So there actually was an article that was released not too long ago, and it's called "Singles Are Shifting the Dating World in 2023 by Avoiding One Specific Relationship." And guess what it is? It's called a situationship. So A.R. Hopkins wrote this report on situationships, essentially, and it was information that was founded by Shan Boodram, who is actually a sex and relationship expert through Bumble. Now, what the article talks about is how people really have, over the time period of COVID, when we were during lockdown, people really took the time to really do some self-evaluation and really identify within themselves what it is that they wanted. So coming out of that and really coming back into the world as it is, now that we are back out here full-fledged, we've been out back now, people are really taking more of the time to really invest in what they really want, which is a true relationship, and they're not settling for the situationship any longer. So the other factor of that I want to mention that the article points out is that people are communicating better. They're really letting their intentions be known as to what they want. So that is something that is very key and important for you if you really want to have a relationship. You do not want to settle for a situationship, because if you don't ever say anything, then guess what? You're unlikely to get it, right? So keep that in mind as you're moving forward in your mindset and shifting yourself out of getting yourself out of the situationship and moving into a space of more of where you're going to receive what you want, which is the actual true authentic love and relationship that you really truly deserve, because you are worthy of it. Plain and simple. You have to know that. Okay. So let's talk about some things really quickly about how it is that you ended up in the situationship in the first place, because this is something that's important for you to understand. Okay, you have to understand where you are. You have to understand where you were that allowed you to be in this place, and you have to understand where it is that you want to go. Okay, so this can apply to men and women. So there are some factors that really amplify the reasons as to why you basically ended up in the situationship. And the first thing is loneliness. Loneliness is actually one of the major factors of situationships. A lot of adults in this day and age tend to actually be a little bit more lonelier than they were in the past years, because over time, with the expansion of technology and social media being so available to everyone, a lot of people are not really spending a lot of time face-to-face contact hours with other individuals, and are oftentimes relying on social media as that outlet for social communication and interaction. So that does not take the place of human interaction, and therefore a lot of people may still actually experience loneliness. And being in a situationship, it feels that need of loneliness. You become complacent to a situation where your loneliness is fulfilled or released due to having some companionship. Okay, so thus and therefore, loneliness is one of the factors that you need to make sure that you consider when you are wondering why it is that you ended up in a situationship in the first place. Okay, insecurity. So insecurity really in the fact that you are not really thinking that there's anything more out there. You're not taking an abundance mindset, and that's something that you need to work on. The next thing is sex. So it's convenience for sex. Okay, a lot of times situationships, you are going to be likely having sex with that person. So you need to make sure that you are checking yourself and realizing, listen, is this really all that I can get out of this situation, or do I want something more? Understand that and know that for yourself. The next thing is complacent. You become comfortable in a habit of literally being around this person because they take up so much of your time, because you're so involved with them, because you're so engrossed in being with that person, even though you're not actually with that person. Catch my drift? It's really something that you have to figure out and decide, okay, can I replace this person with maybe a new hobby, a new activity that I really enjoy that's going to really take up my time, as opposed to this person that I'm relying on. The next thing is keeping your options open. A lot of people end up in situationships because you want to keep your options open and you want to keep exploring, but you still have this one person that's like your favorite person, but like not really. Okay, not enough for you to be in a committed relationship with. And so that's something else you need to keep in mind as you are reevaluating yourself. Now, the next thing is because you allow it. A lot of times you end up in situationships because you literally just allow it. And that is not something that's healthy. So as you are reevaluating yourself, reevaluating what it is that you want, you need to set your mindset to be intentional to receive what it is that you want, because again, you are worthy and you are deserving of what it is that you really want. If a relationship is something that you truly want, set your intention. Go back to my other episode 1, where I talked about being intentional about getting what it is that you want. Once you set your intention, get yourself out of the space of allowing yourself to settle for a situationship, you can literally have any relationship you want. And that is going to be the takeaway from today. All right. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.